Live with CDP, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast live on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Now here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. I forgot to add myself to the stream. Oops.
Okay, I was wondering why I couldn't hear you.
I apologize. That was a little technical glitch. That's something I'm learning to, even in podcasting with Rogers TV. Sometimes technical glitches happen. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, that's great. Hey, and like I said, I just reach out to people, and I've been lucky enough. This is my 156th episode since March of 2020.
Wow. Congratulations. You've been working hard.
Yes, and it was a game of basketball that kind of gave me the broadcasting bug, and that led to Rogers TV, which led to my podcast.
Nice.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. The Lightning are in the finals right now, and they're up 2-0 in the series. So I can't really complain on that. It's been a great team to watch and experience basketball with. It's always exciting, and they're going to Windsor on Wednesday. I mean, not Windsor, Kitchener, sorry.
Kitchener, yeah.
Kitchener on Wednesday. So that should be an interesting game. I mean, they swept their first series, so I think they're looking to do the same on Wednesday.
Yes, and I will be at that game. Now, your last name, I pronounced it okay?
Yes. I didn't hear you pronounce it in the beginning. Let's see. Try it again.
Victoria Serwatuk.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I just that's something I want to make sure I get right with my guest names, like last names and stuff like that too. So
yeah.
But
yep.
Yeah, I noticed you're from Fanshawe College in London, and I know London well. Now, did you have a professor named Jim Van Horn by any chance?
I did. I certainly did.
Great guy, and he came on my podcast over a year ago. Came on for over an hour and a half to talk about his Fanshawe College program and the London Knights, of course. So, and I've had Mike Stubbs on a couple times too, as well.
Yeah. Jim was great. So I did a postgraduate broadcasting course at Fanshawe after my 4 years at St. FX. And Jim really, Jim was the reason I got to this point, really. He helped me out in ways that I can't even explain, because in a year time, you don't really have a lot of time to learn super fast. You have to learn super fast, right? So all the knowledge that you have to know is condensed into this 1 year postgraduate broadcasting course. So Jim came in, and he was always just so motivational, and he was always making sure that even when my work wasn't the best, he was critiquing me in a way that gave me motivation and wanted me to move forward, and and made me confident in my work regardless. So I ended up getting an internship with the NBLC because I needed an internship to finish my college degree, and then I got it. So it was kind of like a paid internship with the NBLC, and it was a new position that they introduced this year for their 10th anniversary. And it's just basically like sideline reporting, game recaps, content creation, all that kind of stuff, interviews with coaches and players, So
Yeah, because when I talked to him, I told him I'm trying to do the broadcasting scene the unconventional way because I'm in my late 40s, and I did go to college for law and security, but I'm just hoping by doing this podcast and doing a lot of it, plus my Rogers TV work, and then thanks to Aaron Sanders from the Windsor Express, he got me connected with the NBL of Canada as a media affiliate, so that's been a great experience as well. And I've even been offered a public address announcer role for a local football team here as well, which I have no experience, but it's just amazing how if you make connections, it can lead to other opportunities.
yeah, it really can. And you have to be open to just doing stuff like coming on this podcast or, meeting other people in the industry, because you never know where somebody can help you in your field of work, right?
Absolutely, and I try to make all the NBLC post game conference calls on Zoom after each game. I try to do as many as I can, and it's great to speak to the coaches and the players and stuff like that, and just try to ask good solid questions and stuff like that, and learn from the others as well that are on the Zoom calls.
Yeah. And you know what else too? Like working with the Lightning and working with the staff. So I mean, like obviously, oddly, the commissioner of the NBLC has been a great help to me to kick off my career. He's been super motivational, and he's been there for me a lot. But also the people with the Lightning, from the head coach to the players to the media guy Jake, like they're all so warming and welcoming to me that I am so excited to go to every game, and they're always there if I need help, if I need assistance, if I'm struggling with a line for a stand up. They're always there to kind of, maybe you should say this or you could say this, and they just help guide me, and I'm super appreciative that I have such amazing people around me with the Lightning crew, because that also has helped me get to the point where I'm at today.
Well, and I was with that other league here in Ontario too, and I'll leave it at this. This is just my opinion on the other league compared to the NBL of Canada. I honestly I've seen both leagues play a lot, and to be honest, I find the quality of play in the NBL of Canada is a little bit higher than the other league. To be honest, and I've seen a lot of that other league, and I'm just so grateful that Audley has given me a chance through Aaron Sanders and to come on here. And I really have enjoyed this season, even though there's only been 4 teams. And I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts about the matchups with the basketball league out of the United States this year as well?
Oh, I thought that was great. I thought that was really cool. So you could see the talent from the United States as well, and kind of what they have going on with their pro leagues, right? Because you have a lot of pro leagues everywhere, but it was cool to see what is just right over our border, and they're doing the same thing as us. And I think that it was also a good, there were good matchups because it gave the guys a little bit of experience on playing even more different teams, right? Although there was only 4 teams in our league, we still got to watch several different teams, right? We still got to change it up. There was always something new and exciting happening, in some uncertainty going into a game, because you don't know how Syracuse is going to play. You don't know how Albany is going to play. And then they come out, and obviously London did pretty well against most of them. I think they lost to one of them, if I'm not mistaken. But
The Albany Platoons.
yes, they lost them. But it was just really cool to see like their style of play. And I even got a chance to do some interviews with coaches and players from the other league. So that was really interesting to me as well. And then we also had the All-Star weekend, which was in Syracuse. That was a really good time, and it was just a great collaboration, right? And like I said, more connections, and like we had our league and their league. They actually ended up beating us in the All-Star game, but it was all for fun and games, and getting to know coaches and players, and it was a good time.
I was gonna say I would like to see this arrangement go next year. The only thing is I would make the games count for them as well because I just think it would be a more competitive. I just would like to see it where it would matter to them a little more than being an exhibition game. That's the only little negative I saw that is for the TBL games, the teams. It was kind of an exhibition game, and for the NBL of Canada with a regular game. So I'd like to
Yeah.
see them do a little tweaks there. But I did have Freddie Zamaya on for the Toledo Glass City, and the All-Star Game MVP Chris Darrington on. And I think Chris is going to be in the G League and possibly the NBA in the next 2 years. He's a tremendous player and point guard for Toledo.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent, but just because I think the problem is that the TBL is so big. So I'm just like wondering how it would work if we're only pulling 4 or 5 teams from the TBL to come and play with us. How would those games count in their league if we're not playing all of the teams, right? So there's kind of, because their league is huge. I'm not sure how many teams they got, but they have a lot.
Yes. I was
Right.
going to
So
say,
it's almost impossible for us to play all of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, it would be nice to see the NBL of Canada get back to 8 teams, ideally,
Yeah.
to get 4 back on the East Coast. So hopefully, we'll cross their fingers that the NBL of Canada can get at least back to 6 teams next year, and then see what happens. But I think, considering the circumstances this year, I think it's been a very successful league for the National Basketball League of Canada.
Yeah, I would say so too. And there might be a team in Montreal. It's going to take some time, right? We took 2 years off due to COVID, and then you have to rebuild. And the fan base, obviously, the fans aren't the stadiums aren't as packed as they were a few years ago, right? But
Yeah.
it's just going to take time. It's going to take time for people to come back out, to start watching again, to start paying attention. Nothing really happens overnight. Just a little bit more marketing, a little bit more podcasts, a little bit more exposure again, that we're back in action, and we'll be back at it in no time. I'm
Yes.
sure of it.
Definitely. And I've had Aaron Sanders on 4 times from the Windsor Express. I've had Neil Foreman on when he was with the Express. He's a super great guy, and hopefully I'll have him on again. And I've also had Audley on, and I'm hoping after the season's over for the London Lightning to try to get Coach Doug Plum on as well, because I enjoy asking him questions and just how he talks. He's a very old school and very knowledgeable guy about the game of basketball.
Oh yeah, he is. And I've learned so much from him. And in his interviews, I mean, I can ask him like 1 or 2 questions and he just going on and on and on. And I don't even have to edit what he says because everything just lines up and makes sense all the time. Right. So he's an extremely knowledgeable guy, and he's really interesting to listen to. He's somebody that you can, he really draws you in by the way he words things and the way he talks about basketball. He makes it so interesting. Right. So
and one thing I've noticed about the Lightning in their time, out of all the franchises in the league, they've been the most consistent. Windsor's had some championships too, but London's had a lot of success. They're sort of remind me of the London Knights of the NBL of Canada, just because they have good ownership and they hire the right people to coach and manage the team and the roster and stuff. And it's a tremendous roster where a lot of these guys on the bench could play for other teams.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, their slogan is Drive for 5, right? So, and it's the 10th year of NBL. So that would mean they would be winning. They've won 50% of the time which they probably will win this year.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to get into some questions if that's okay, Victoria.
Sure.
Okay, you already answered one of my questions, so we'll scrap that one. But can you just tell my audience here in Guelph just a little bit about yourself? And when did you decide you wanted to pursue a career as a sports reporter, media, get into this?
Well, it's funny. So I'm 23 years old, born and raised in Hamilton, Ontario. My father went to St. FX, and that's where I went for university. I graduated in 2021. And my father graduated in 91. So we graduated exactly 30 years apart. I took sociology while I was there, and so did he. So we did the same degree, same university, same everything. My father is an entrepreneur, a business owner. I kind of wanted to take a little bit of a different path, but I wasn't sure what that was. I was still trying to figure it out. So after I finished university, I went to Europe. I'm Serbian and Ukrainian, but I went to the Balkans for a few months after I finished university to, congratulate myself, I guess. And I really took some time there to think about what and how I could, do to make myself happy. What could I really pursue my life in? So then I'm thinking, my father opened an Airbnb in Nova Scotia following my university degree. And it was Rita McNeil's old house that she built and owned. So I became property manager of that, and that gained a lot of attention from media. And then I was asked to do broadcasts, and I was asked to be on like a show. So I got a lot of exposure in that sense. And there was always a big camera in front of me. So I'm in Europe and I'm thinking, why wouldn't I go into broadcasting of some sort? Right? I didn't right away think sports broadcasting, but I thought broadcasting. But it makes sense because all I do is watch sports. So why wouldn't I pursue something that I love to do on a daily basis? Right? So I looked into Fanshawe College, and they had a postgraduate broadcasting program. I really wasn't looking to go to school for another 3 or 4 years because I had been in university, and it's a long road. But they had this 1-year postgraduate course, and that was very detailed, very right to the point, how to edit, how to videography, how to act on camera. So I did that, and everything's been going smoothly, I think, so far. And it's going to be a road. It's going to be a road, definitely, but I'm ready for it, and I'm ready to take any opportunity and any experience that I can get in the field because it's something that I love to do. Every Lightning game that I go to, I still get butterflies in my stomach, So it's great.
And I'm like that with my podcast, and then also when I'm doing Rogers TV as a camera operator, every live broadcast, I'm a little nervous, but it's a good nervousness, and I love being a part of live broadcast and a live podcast as well. And sometimes mistakes or things happen, and you just got to roll with the punches. And I'm getting a lot of my education through Rogers TV as well, so I'm doing things a little the more unconventional way, but I'm just hopefully I'll get an opportunity one day as well to get into radio, hopefully.
Of course. And you know what I mean? There's not really a specific, especially with media, it's not a specific road that you have to take or you're not going to get to where you want to be. Everybody has their own pathway. Everybody has their own opportunities. Everybody has their own connections. So ultimately, it's just how you get yourself there. And if you can push yourself and pursue what you really want to do, you'll get it. 100%.
And I've taken up some blogging now too, and also what I've been doing the last couple of months since the pandemic's restrictions have loosened up, I've actually been doing some live interviews, like at Wrestling Cards, at the Toronto Argonauts training camp here in Guelph, and I'm hoping before or after the game tomorrow night in Kitchener to maybe do some quick live interviews as well. That way, I ask questions right off from my head and not like write them down and stuff like that, because that's kind of a good thing to be able to do too, as well as do live interviews.
Yeah, if for sure, because it really tests your ability on like it shows your ability on how you can come up with those questions and how you can respond to them, and what you can pull from the player or the coach or the staff, or what I mean, like what kind of information you can get from them. So I think that really reflects a lot for when people are looking at your interviews and stuff like that. Like, what kind of questions did you ask? How did you ask it? Were you confident? Were you not? So it's
And one thing I've learned too, and this is from home, I guess, just be yourself. Don't be somebody that you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
And one thing I've also learned too is listening skills, because you've already answered my next 2 questions I wanted to ask you. So, but one question I didn't ask you yet, did you have any mentor or mentors when you were starting into this industry?
Yes. Sophia Jerk. Oh, I always forget how to pronounce her last name. She's this ringside reporter for the Boston Bruins. Hockey, probably my favorite sport in this entire world. Okay. And I grew up watching the Bruins my entire life. I've seen them in many playoff games. I've seen them beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in all of those game 7s.
Yep.
And that's really brought my love out too for it. And I would love to be a part of that organization. I would love to be part of the Bruins organization in the near future. I think that I looked up to Sophia. I watch her Instagram stories all the time. She's just and she's so good at her job, and she's so happy and bright about it. And it's just something that like I love to see, right? Especially working for the Bruins. Also, Camille Cosquet, she was a cheerleader for the New England Patriots, and now she's dating or married to Gronkowski. She the same way. She's like a host. She's a TV host. She's a media personnel. She's somebody that's super motivational, and now she's a host of Wipeout. Now she hosts this dance show. So she's just one of those girls that's like started from, dancing career and like moved her way into media. And she also did some sideline reporting, which I thought was really cool too. So all these powerful women that I see on social media that have something to do with that I love, that I've watched them and I've watched them grow and I've watched them where they started and where they are now. It makes me realize that anything's really possible if you believe and you pursue your goals.
And I was going to say that leads to my next question. I guess this one I just thought of. There are so many opportunities now for women in broadcasting than there was before, not just as a sideline reporter, but now as an analyst and also as even play-by-play announcers as well.
Oh, sorry. You just cut out. What did you say?
I was going to say there's so many more opportunities now for women in broadcasting, not just being the sideline reporter or TV host, but as analysts and even some play-by-play announcers. And I have one coming on next week from the Albany Platoons. Her name is Marissa Jax, and I think it's great that the females are getting an opportunity as well in the industry as well.
Yeah. I agree. And I think it adds a little bit of spice and entertainment to, your daily sports broadcasting, right? It's always interesting to see that, women are just as knowledgeable in sports as, men are. So I think it's a great thing, and I'm really excited to get into it. I think that there's a lot of opportunities here for us, and I think that people are so much, they're open to hiring women now, they get excited when they see a girl applying for a job, right? Because it's like, you want that contrast, you want that gender contrast, and like, it's great to see even like a girl and a guy kind of going at it about a game, right? So because you get two different outlooks on the game. So
yeah, and you're also seeing more diversity too. I think it's Sportsnet. There's a gentleman there, and I can't remember his name is, but he does a great job with Louis Debresque on the broadcast. I can't remember his name is, but he does such a great job, and it's nice to see more women and more diversity in broadcasting. That's what I kind of meant to say before.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. I was going to say you've already answered my next two questions. So this one I wanted to ask you: how did you come about your current role as a sideline reporter for the National Basketball League's London Lightning again?
So I think it was January 2022 this year. I found. Oh, hey, Aaron.
Yeah, he's one of my friends, and he was just saying, okay, I can't pronounce the name, saying his name, Chris. Yeah, he does a tremendous job, and Aaron, he's one of my favorite guests, been on 4 times, and he's the one that's put me onto this league, and I thank him for that.
Yeah, I love Aaron. He's a great guy, an awesome announcer, 10 out of 10.
Absolutely. He will be in the NBA one day. It's just a matter of time.
Yes, I agree.
So.
I agree. So I applied for the position while I was still in school at Fanshawe because I needed an internship to finish my program with Fanshawe. And I spoke with Audley. I went through a few interviews, and then I got the position for the Lightning. And then I started working as soon as the season started there. It got pushed a little bit because of the COVID restrictions and whatnot, and fan allowance and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and then I've been working with them the whole season. I mean, it's been a long road. Like I went into it and I didn't I kind of went into it head first, like I really had no previous experience, but I had a drive that I guess a lot of people saw. And, my progress from the beginning till now is out of this world. So I think so. I really do. I think I've progressed a lot, and I'm like, my game recaps are getting better. I'm kind of getting the hang of it. I'm learning the lingo, learning how to say stuff, how to talk, how to present myself. So it's definitely been a great experience.
The more reps you have at anything, you do improve. The more you do something, the more you improve.
Yes, 100%. Practice makes perfect.
Definitely. I know Allen Iverson never liked practice, but you know what? In any career in that, you need to do that to improve your skills daily.
Yeah.
Now, did you do any road games, or did you just cover the Lightning games at Budweiser Gardens?
Well, I was only supposed to cover the Lightning games at the Budweiser Gardens. Like that was kind of my contract. But I did go to the game against Windsor, game 3 in Windsor. That was a tight game. That was probably, I was so nervous the entire time. And because I was sitting on the sidelines, I was taking a few shots, nothing crazy. but London was down for majority of the game. And then they came back in the end and they won by like 2 points. It was, I kind of felt bad for Windsor, right? Their fans were there. Everybody was excited. They were hyped up. It would have been nice maybe for them to go another game. But, I mean, London always finds this way to pull through. I don't know how. I don't know if it's Doug will call a timeout and then they'll come back and then they'll be firing, because that's what I've seen. London will be down and then Doug will call a timeout. They'll go to the bench. They'll come back. And then all of a sudden we have a 10-point lead. I have no idea what he says to them. I don't know, but it's something that works. It's something that works. I think that a lot of London's success has come from Doug. So, I mean, and obviously the players and everything, but Doug knows how to lay it all out for them,
I was going to say, from what I've seen, he's great at in-game adjustments and second half game adjustments. And to me, I know everybody wants him to stay in London for a long time, but I think eventually he's going to move up to the G League and the NBA, because he's got a high basketball IQ and he knows how to motivate his players and get the best out of them, from what I've seen.
Oh yeah, 100%. And he's young, right? He's young too. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of stuff ahead of him that that he's going to evolve from the NBLC 100%.
Before I get on to a few more questions, are you okay for time still?
Oh, great. Yeah.
Okay. I was just going to show my audience a little video clip of the highlights of the game Sunday, because that was one of the better games of the year, where the Lightning really had to earn that victory in overtime against the Titans. Just bear with me and we'll put on just a couple-minute clip from the National Basketball League of Canada.
Through hard work and sheer effort, but couldn't get a rhythm going. Never really got hot.
Jesse Jones has his pass picked off by our other player to watch, and Chris Jones to Terry Thomas, first bucket of the game. Williams rattles around and won't go down.
Good look, though.
Kindred with the defensive board goes up the court, trying to do it himself, and why not? Rattles this one in to tie us up at 2. 7-7. An exciting way to start off this game 2 of the championship. Thomas, nylon ripper. Go and give you some perspective on Eric Ferguson. 887 minutes, 523 points. 3 balls away for Lance Adams, and it down carries us up the court. Stuck on a pivot, leaves it there for Terry Thomas. Thomas into the corner to Haley. 3's away, splash, or up the 4-1, depending on your perspective. As we are into the second quarter of action, Kindred pulls it up, and Jabari Craig throws.
Nope, 2 bigs. I want to see the 2 bigs for KW.
Yeah, it was big for big. Sorry to disappoint you. Terry Thomas, man, the torpedoes. What a dime from Haley.
He was feeling it. He thought it was down.
Kindred, ooh, nasty little move to get around. Jones caps it off with the inbound. It is Cameron Forte, who poured in a double-double in 14 minutes of action in game 1. Terry back to Kindred.
Shot clock down to 8 or 7.
Kindred using a Jabari Craig screen, slicing and dicing his way to 2 points. Can't believe that Cameron Forte is already 1 rebound shy of the double-double here early in the third quarter, as the 3-ball batter yard can be given up in this game 2. Burns, double team, forces the turnover. Kindred with numbers the other way for the Titans, coasting for 2. And Puerto Rico is the only non-American to ever win this award. No Canadian, born or otherwise, John, has picked up that heart. They have to step it up on the defense, and they do here. Jabari Craig, by the way, has 13 points and 5 rebounds in this game so far. Joel Kindred, all but I guess you just throw that in the windmill when you're in the third quarter.
In the windmill, that's a Dutch reference.
Oh, okay.
I like it. Yeah.
Now Thomas loses everybody and gets the buck. You didn't like that one?
Yeah, no, that was good.
Oh,
yeah, that
okay.
was good.
Come
yeah,
on. I was trying to get you going.
I'm just watching why.
Corner 3, Kindred.
Why nobody's paying attention? Defensive player is Haley.
Well, remember, it's around this point of game 1 where the tide turned in the London Lightning favor. Who was the large in part to do that? As Kindred all off to Joel Kindred, your 2022 MVP of the NBLC, into the near corner. Odd angle shot by Jesse Jones.
Was the foul shot? Third was
but a tech was handed out.
It was, yeah, to Jermaine Haley. You're right.
Thomas doesn't care what
huge.
he was. They were down by 8 at halftime and currently lead by 4 here in the fourth quarter. So who am I to suggest that what they're doing is wrong? As Terry Thomas, we're all tied up at 90s from Budweiser Gardens in downtown London on your Sunday afternoon. Kindred to Jesse Jones. Long 2 is away. Nylon with him on the bench. The MVP is beside their head coach and Neil Foreman, and their team has a 3-point lead. Cutting into it, though. Take the free throws in Adams, giving it back to Terry Thomas.
Oh, Thomas going to the rack.
And he attacks it for 2.
And he could wreck
Number 2 of a best of 5 in the NBLC championship. Burns' pass is stripped. Kindred the other way, a chance to take the lead. 2 hands. He wanted to call. The official just says, get up, and he obliges. It's Kindred down by 2. Goes into the key, slicing and dicing his way to tie it up in one Dalmatian.
I gotcha. I know.
There we go.
Yeah, you're seeing double, are you?
Haley to Thomas to the rack for 2.
Again, a backdoor cut by Terry Thomas, who recognized that time.
Now, do you settle for the final shot if you're the Titans? No, they're going to try and attack it. No whistle on the play. We're at Budweiser Gardens. Marie Eisen, Terry Thomas. Thought about taking the shot on Tyrell Tate. Instead feeds Haley, who took 5 steps to the basket.
Anyways, that clip was courtesy of the National Basketball League of Canada. That was one of the better games I've seen all year. And Kitchener, got to give them credit. They were missing 4 key players too, and they really gave the Lightning all they could handle.
Wait, was there they didn't play the overtime?
Yeah, that clip didn't do that, and I should have looked at it more, but it only played it. Yeah, 115 to 110, the final score. And you got to give Kitchener-Waterloo Titans credit because the first half, London kind of had a nice 8-point lead, but the second half, Kitchener did the opposite of game 2, what they did game 1. Game 1, they started out well, and then they faded in the second half. This game, they were more stronger in the second half. And Joe Kendrick, I've seen play for the Guelph Nighthawks, and Jabari Craig, they had outstanding games. So I'm just hoping maybe tomorrow they might get some of those players back as well, because like I said, it's hard to win in a league or a championship series when you're missing 4 key players as well.
Yeah, it is. It is tough, and I think it would be a little bit tougher of a matchup if they were playing. I'm not sure the status on them for Wednesday, but I'll get that report tomorrow anyways.
But you know what? The Lightning had games this year where Doug had to use 5 guys. That was it. I can't remember. There was a couple games against the American teams where the 5 starters basically played the entire game. So Doug, I think, and the Lightning realized too, they're lucky right now. They got a full deck on hand. And the one player I really like on this team is Terry Thomas. He sort of reminds me of James Harden with his style. To me, he's one of the most underrated players in the league.
Well, I mean, he's got a couple awards now, so I don't know how underrated he is. But yeah, no, he is. He's a great asset to have on the team, right? He's that guy that goes out there, he gets those points, he's defensive, he gets the turnovers. I mean, he's an all-around just an amazing player, and he really draws a lot of the team together at times, right? So he is good.
And Aaron was just putting another comment. I've known these commentators since my time doing Windsor London games. The 2 Johns are entertaining. Absolutely. Yeah. They have a unique style, but you know what? That's great because every team's announcers, they should have their own style. You don't want them all being the same. So I agree with you on that, Aaron. They make the broadcast interesting.
Oh yeah. And and it's funny how their styles are completely different, right? And I love John, what was his last name? He has a bit of a crazier style. I forget his.
Aaron would know. Aaron would know.
Yeah.
So maybe Mr. Sanders can tell.
I love he's always coming in. He's got a suit that's like a different color with a different pattern all the time, and we're always complimenting each other on each other's clothing, right? Because I like to dress up, kind of.
I think Mr. Sanders. Yeah. Okay. Bitovich, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Urban
Witz.
Urbanowitz.
Yeah. So I don't know how many years he's been doing the Lightning games, but I've enjoyed them both this year doing the London coverage.
Yeah, he's got an interesting voice to him, right? Kind of not your classic, reporter voice. So I mean, voice, right? So I like it. I like him a lot. And he's also another aspect of the Lightning that makes it even more enjoyable, right? We're laughing, we're joking all the time. So
actually all the league's teams have good announcers. Sudbury's, I don't know their names. I've watched their games, Kitchener games, and of course the Windsor Express have I think the best announcer in the NBL of Canada, Aaron Sanders. To me, when you hear his voice, you think of the NBL of Canada because he's been with the league since I believe day 1.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Okay, that was my next question. Are you still good for time?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. No problem. Just tell us about your role as a content creator for the National Basketball League of Canada and what that entails.
So when Audley hired me, he hired one person, kind of a correspondent for each team in the league. Basically, our job is to go to the games, be at every home game, get some shots, produce game recaps, study the sheets, know the players, interview them, interview the coach, build relationships, and be an appearance on media for that team. Whether that's talking about the game on, in halftime, pregame, making a game recap for NBL Canada this week. Just kind of making content, helping the league get back to where it was, just having a presence on media, right? And because that's the most important thing in today's day, is because everybody's on their phone, everybody's on their laptop. So you have to have something where you're going to be attracting fans, attracting people and clients and everything, right? Because you want to make the league known. So that was kind of our job, to hype up our team, represent our team, and get fans like a backstage pass almost, right? A locker room pass to the team.
Yeah, definitely. And with them giving people like myself an opportunity to be involved with the league as a media affiliate, I think that's great too, because it's giving me experience in being a media member, but it's also helping the league get a little more promotion. And if you let people know about the league, it's like the National Lacrosse League. I've fallen in love with the Lacrosse League now because I've been watching the product, been to a Rock game, Bandits game, and same with the NBL of Canada. And tomorrow night's game will be my first NBL Canada game since 2016, when I saw the Lightning beat the Express at Budweiser Gardens.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be a good one, and I'm sure it's going to be loud. It's going to be packed in there. You're going to have a bunch of Lightning fans coming, and then the Kitchener fans are very loud. So there's a huge group of them that actually came to the Gardens for games 1 and 2, and they sat behind the Kitchener bench. They were loud. They're like matching our fans, right? So, and that was only a small group of them. So I can only imagine what Game 3 is going to look like. It's definitely tougher at an away game, right? And
to be honest, it makes a difference with fans, because I did some Guelph Storm games here when there was no fans allowed, and it's not the same doing sports without fans in the stands.
Right, 100%. Because then there's no motivation. Then it just feels like a practice, right?
Definitely.
So,
Oh, here's something for you too. I haven't been to the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium since 1990. That was the last time I was at that arena. And I live in Guelph, so Mike Farwell from the Rangers always bugs me because I haven't been to a Rangers game in Kitchener since '83. So I'm gonna have to let him know last night, hey, I'm finally at the Odd for the first time in 31 years. So I'm really looking forward to this game and opportunity tomorrow night to cover it. And who knows, we might see the championship trophy awarded to London tomorrow. But I think the Titans are going to come out and even play their best game tomorrow.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. That's for sure. So I really think that they're going to put up a good fight, especially, each game is just creeping closer and closer and closer. So it's going to be, I'm excited, nervous. I don't know how to feel. Of
Definitely.
course, I've grown love for the London Lightning. I really have.
Yeah.
I watched this team. They've never lost a game that I've been to. Right? Imagine starting your career with, watching a team just win.
Yep.
And I've built such good relationships with everybody in the league, on the team. So it makes me love them. Right? Like, I love that team. I do, inside and out, and just because they've gave me the best experience I could ever have for a starting job.
And Aaron was just saying John has been with them since 1920. And I was going to say 23 months shutdown. It's so great to have the league back. And I've kind of become a fan of the entire league, to be honest. Like tomorrow night, I'm going to be cheering for both teams because I've gotten to know the Kitchener guys. I've known the London guys. The Sudbury, I knew a little bit, but I've just covered so much of the London games, the Titans games, and the Express games. And I've kind of just want to see a great game tomorrow night. And I'm looking forward to this opportunity.
I was going to say, like the game 2 was tight, and that was a really good game. Back and forth. There was a lead here. There was a lead there. It went back and forth, and then overtime, that's pure basketball right there. That's two teams going head to head. So I can only imagine what tomorrow night's going to look like. Tomorrow night is going to be most definitely probably one of the interesting games of the season.
So we hopefully will run into each other tomorrow night at the game at the Odd.
For sure. I'll be running around there with my GoPro filming the guys. So for sure.
Same here. I'm just debating whether I should bring my laptop or just use my phone because I don't know what their setup is like at the Odd. If I wanted to bring a laptop to blog on my computer there. So
yeah, I don't know if there's a media table. I don't think there's a media table, like, because there's a media table in Windsor. There's a media table in London, obviously. I'm not sure. I've never been to the Odd, so I'm excited to check it out too.
Yeah, because I'm just or just make sure my phone's well charged up and ready to go for pictures and videos and hopefully a couple of interviews. I wish Aaron could be at this game tomorrow night too, because to me he's the voice of the NBL of Canada.
Aaron, you're not going to be there?
So unfortunately, I don't think he will. I'm hoping to run into him one of these days. And like I said, I'm just so glad I've made connections with him. And then, like I said, I'm just watching this game more and more. I really like the league, and hopefully next year the league will be back up to 6 or 8 teams and continue to be strong and grow their fan base.
And I think they will. I mean, they got Audley on their back, who's such a great commissioner. He's all around. He does so much work for the league, and and in every aspect. And he's done such a good job with this 10th anniversary. We've did the collaboration with the TBL. I mean, it's just the recipe is there. All it takes is just a little bit more mixing, and we'll be okay. For sure.
Aaron just chimed in again. I won't be there. I got to produce a Spitz game on radio tomorrow. But Aaron, they're in game 6 tonight in Flint. So if they don't win tonight in Flint, that means you'll be free tomorrow night to come down to Kitchener. So we'll see what happens. But I did predict Aaron. The Spitfires would beat Flint in 7 hard-fought games. So I wouldn't count the Spitfires out yet. They know how to win on the road. And no series lead is ever safe. And I'm sure Doug Plum is telling the Lightning this too, that, hey guys, just because we're up 2-0, we can't relax and let up, because Kitchener just wins one game, then it's basically a best of 2. And that's why these best of 5s are great, because it means every game is so more important.
Yep, it is.
Okay, just got a couple more questions I wanted to ask you. We've already talked about the thoughts of the 22 matchup between the Lightning and the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. What player do you think could surprise us tomorrow night for the Lightning? Like, there might be a player that might step up and have a big game tomorrow night against the Titans.
Well, as we know, the Titans are matching our offense, right? They're matching. They're getting the baskets. They're getting the threes. So what we need to work on in our aspect, I think, is defending. And I think Doug is really going to push that too. So we have a lot of players that are all around great players. Then, we got our offensive guys, we got our defensive guys. But I think Jordan Jensen-White is a really, really important player to us, because he's so well-rounded defensively, right? Of course, he doesn't have 20, 30 points a game, but he's the guy who's doing the blocks. He's the guy who's getting the turnovers. And also Amir Williams, right? Amir Williams, probably one of the biggest guys in the league. We need him tomorrow. We need him tomorrow to do the blocks. We need to defend the net, right? Because in order to win, we're going to have to keep KW away from offensively and scoring baskets. So they've proven to us that they can keep up with our offense. So I think it's our defensive guys are going to play really hard tomorrow. So they're going to pull through with that win.
Because I noticed with the Titans, the majority of their scoring comes through Joe Kendrick. So if you can contain Joe Kendrick, you can't stop him. But if you can contain him and keep him to, let's say, 25 points, around 25 points, that should increase London's chances. Now, my Lightning player of the game to watch for tomorrow night, and I think he's going to have a big game in Game 3, is Chris Jones. I wanted to ask you, how big of a return was Chris Jones? We won't get into what happened with him in Sudbury, but how big is his return been an impact on the Lightning team?
It's crazy. It's amazing. Like he knows how to play basketball. He knows how to get around the players. He's fast. He's up and down the court. He's in and around. So, and he can shoot threes like crazy. So he is definitely one of the biggest assets to London, and I'm definitely happy that we have him back because I can't remember what was his. He had 39 points. I think it was game 1 of the series. Yeah, he had 39 points. Right? He just let it go. And once he's not stopping. Once he's comfortable with those threes, they're just going in and in and in. Right?
And Coach Sanders was saying they got to out rebound Kitchener-Waterloo as well.
Yeah.
So, and I think turnovers is going to be key because every possession in this game is going to matter. And the team that makes the fewest mistakes should win this game.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
They have to bring their A game. They have to both be on their toes, right? They can't slip up. And I don't know what the outcome is going to be, right? But I'm going to be there for it either way. So,
yes.
It's going to be great basketball. It's going to be really, really good basketball. So
the first quarter is going to be key to come out and have a strong first quarter. That's, I think, is going to be the key right there. Just to get off to a good start. You don't want to trail and fall behind because it takes a lot out of a team when you're chasing the other team in the majority of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, just 2 more questions to wrap it up. What's your most memorable interview you've done so far this year with a Lightning coach or a Lightning player?
Well, I had an interview. I got the chance to interview Xavier Moon, who played with the Lightning for 2 seasons before he went to I know he played for the CEBL as well, but he played for Lightning and he came back and he visited. So that was definitely really cool that I got to interview him and I got to talk with him because he gave me a little bit of insight on, how Doug was when he was a coach, what the difference is like from our league kind of to going to the G League, to going to the NBA. So it kind of gave me a taste of what it would be like to be a reporter for the NBA, right? I'm in for interviewing somebody with so much skill, such a talented player. That was definitely my most memorable interview. And, he was such a sweet guy and it was great. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm going to put you on the spot with this question. Do you like the setup the way it is in the NBL of Canada, just like the NBA? Or do you kind of like the ELAM ending, which was like in FIFA basketball in the CEBL? I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I like it this way. I like it this way because it's more relatable. I feel like a lot more people know how to a lot more people can follow it easier, right? Especially people who don't really pay attention to basketball right away. They're thinking about NBA. So when you have those fans coming in that are just Londoners and just wanting to see a basketball game, it's going to make more sense to them, right? And you want to reach out to everybody. You want to give everybody a chance to love the game of basketball. And I think that, the way we have it is good because it gives people able to relate it to NBA because then, they understand it easier.
And the majority of the games are competitive. There isn't too many blowouts anymore. And I think that's why they brought the ELAM ending to make it fair for both teams. But I agree with you. I like the way the NBL of Canada is set up, just like the NBA as well. So I guess each league has their own thing, but I definitely would keep it the way it is now. I was just going to see what Mr. Sanders had to say about that. Oh, this is another gentleman. Hi, Chris. This is Dave from Are You Serious? Oh, this is one of the guys from a pub in Guelph. It's a Bill's Mafia pub, and a couple of them have followed me on YouTube. And I gave Are You Serious Tap and Grill in Guelph a plug yesterday because they have the best wings and antiheatals in Guelph. So thank you so much, Dave, for watching my podcast. And we'll definitely be coming back there to get some more food this weekend as well. So, and that's the one thing I'm learning too, as well, Victoria, is to get my viewers' comments and stuff a little more interactive with the viewers and the comments on here.
Yeah, for sure. I
Definitely.
feel like now that you mentioned chicken wings.
All the ones in the Are You Serious in Guelph are really good, and they're breaded, and they put lots of sauce on them, and they're anti-heat. If you ever come to Guelph, check out Are You Serious? It's on Silver Creek in Guelph. It's not far from the Sleeman Center.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So, okay. And let's see. This is a fun question. I do this with all my guests. Any hobbies, favorite music, restaurants, and besides the London Lightning, obviously, do you have any, and the Boston Bruins, do you have any other sports teams and athletes that you like?
Well, right now, I'm really following the Celtics. I was never really big into NBA. I like to watch it. Like I watched the Raps, obviously when they won. It was, because I'm from Hamilton, Toronto, so it was a great home vibe. But since obviously of my love for Boston Bruins, I grew a love for Boston, the city in itself, and I love going there. I love every aspect of Boston, and I really want to live there. And I think that's where I'll be happy for the rest of my life. But I started watching the Celtics, and Jason Tatum is out of this world, absolutely out of this world. He's probably one of my favorite players to ever watch in any sport ever. I think he's so all around talented, and it's just watching him. It's like watching a legend play. I feel like he is going to be so legendary. Give him a few more years in the league, and he's gonna be like a LeBron or a Steph Curry. And so I'm really excited for their final run. I think Golden State's a good team. I think that they're gonna put up a really good fight. I hope Boston wins because I want to go watch a game in Boston at some point. Thinking maybe game 3 or 4. So we'll see.
I have a couple of Boston stories. Danny Ainge, who played for the Celtics, won 3 championships with them, was their GM and president. I had my picture taken with him with the Toronto Blue Jays back in 1980 when he played for the Blue Jays. And then the Celtics had to go to court to buy him out from the Blue Jays. And that was one of my Boston stories. My other Boston story is I was at Tom Brady's first ever NFL game, July 31st, 2000 at Canton, Ohio. It was a food poisoning game because me and my friend went down there. We went to some cheap restaurant. I ended up getting food poisoning. And I'm like, hey, I don't want to go to the game. I don't feel good at all. He's like, come on, suck it up. So I sucked it up. I went to the game, and I was impressed in how well he played. But it's most memorable for me is it's the food poisoning for me, and it was his first NFL game. And I still have the ticket stub, and I've had people offer me $400 US for the ticket stub.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was at Boston in 2017 for our Red Sox game at Fenway Park, and I went to Cheers. I had a few beers. I had a great time. And Boston is a great sports city. And my guest yesterday, Marissa Lanchak, is with the Mix 104.1 FM in Boston, and she's a huge Celtic fan. You guys would be like best friends, and she's a great person to have on. So I've been lucky.
What was her name again?
Marissa Lanchak.
Lanchak.
Yeah,
she's with the radio station in Boston.
Mix FM 104.1, and she does Detroit. She does Lexington, Kentucky. She does some remote radio broadcasting from her own home, but she's in the Boston market. She is from originally New York, but she's lived in Boston most of her life. So she's a huge, obviously, Celtics fan, Patriots, Red Sox, and all that stuff. And she's a great radio personality. And if you can watch my podcast with you yesterday, you'll see her with a Boston Celtics green road jersey on Al Holford's jersey. And he went 141 playoff games before finally making the finals with the Celtics.
Yeah. Wow.
So. Yeah, awesome. So definitely.
I'll definitely look into that. That's for sure.
And I've had Bob Sochi on from the Patriots from 98.5 The Sports Hub. Really great guy, too. So maybe in the future, you might be able to check out some of my past podcasts with some of my Boston guests.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to connect with them.
Okay, and I just got a couple more comments, and then we'll get you going. Let's see. Aaron says he's got Boston in 6. My heart says my heart says Boston in 7. But my head says Warriors in 5. I just think the Warriors are well rested and they're pretty well healthy. And the Celtics have had to play back-to-back 7-game series, and that takes a lot out of you. So we'll see what happens. But if Boston can steal either game 1 or game 2 in Golden State and get home court advantage back, that would be huge. And the Celtics are 7-3 in their last 10 meetings with the Warriors, but we'll see what happens. But I am cheering for Boston, but I just think Golden State is going to win in 5. But we'll see what happens.
Oh, I'm sick of Golden State winning.
And my friend Dave, being a Raptors fan, it's tough to cheer for Boston, but I do like Tatum and Brown. And yeah, there's nobody on the Celtics you really disliked. They're good. They're well coached, and their coach is the first-year head coach too, by the way. I can't pronounce his name. I think Aaron might have his name, but I know he came in this year, and they moved Brad Stevens up the head office. But we'll see what happens. I'm hoping for a great series between both these franchises.
Yeah, it's going to be great for sure.
Okay, and I'll wrap it up.
Hockey.
Definitely. So we'll see what happens there. But my last question I wanted to ask you, Victoria, I've probably kept you longer, but thank you so much for coming on. This one I wanted to ask you, any advice for those watching, not just myself, looking to pursue a career in broadcasting media? And where can my audience again find you on social media?
Yeah. Advice I would give you is just keep going. Keep going. Keep pursuing your goals. If you don't get the job, don't worry. Keep applying. Keep going. Keep pushing forward because doors are always going to open. And, like my dad would say, good things fall apart for better things to fall together. So just because you didn't get one opportunity doesn't mean that there's not another one right around the corner. And be strong. And, it's a tough world out there. It really is, and be strong and be yourself. So, and you can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in that nothing is too difficult that you can't do it. And if you want to do it, you can do it.
And age is just, in my case, age is just a number.
Yeah, exactly. And I know people tell me I'm 23 years old and I'm getting into this right now, right? Oh, you're young. Some people wait so long to get into it and then, prolong the process. It really is just a number. And I think that everybody in life should be doing something that makes them happy. And if you're not doing something that makes you happy, move on and do something that makes you happy.
I can write a book about that. And now it's like, you know what? This is what I have a passion for. And the thing with my podcast, I've been able to talk to people your age and people older. So I have a good demographic on here of guests. I don't just, I can only have guests that are my age or older. I can have people that are starting up in the industry as yourself and stuff like that too. So it's great. I get to talk to different types of people on here, different ages, different story. And that's the great thing about this podcast. I get to hear stories from everybody, and everybody has a great story to tell about how they got into their industries.
For sure. I'm super thankful that you had me on the podcast. My Instagram handle is at Serwatuk. So V and then my last name. And then my Twitter is just my last name, Serwatuk. I'm just starting up my Twitter again, and it's just going to be used for sports media affiliated stuff. So we're trying to build that. But yeah, give me a follow and watch my broadcasting stuff. Also follow NBL Canada and the London Lightning because they're always posting great footage and great content. So.
And that's the great thing about StreamYard. I can put all my graphics on here.
Yeah.
So I got that on there too. Are you on TikTok by any chance or no? I just joined there about 8 months ago.
No, not really. No.
I use that to promote my podcast, my guests, and now I'm using that to do live interviews on TikTok. So if you ever check me out, I'm at Live with CDP on TikTok. I've got a ton of video content on there.
Awesome. So, I will. I think
definitely.
Great media source too, so I need to get into that more because
and if I can do it, anybody can. And Aaron, you dumb. Okay, thank you, Aaron. This guy is the encyclopedia of sports,
he knows
especially basketball.
Everything.
Yes, definitely. And then Aaron's got one more comment before we let you go. I thought TikToks were meant to eat after dinner. Try it, Aaron. I'm telling you, I think, Aaron, you'd be great at it. And like I said, for me, it's just to promote myself and to get myself out there even more on social media, because sometimes you can post something, you don't think much of it, and it can go viral as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. So my friend Dave from Are You Serious? Thanks, Victoria, for being the guest. You have great energy. So Dave, thank you for watching. Aaron, thank you for watching. And Victoria, I'm sorry I kept you over the 40-minute time limit, but I really enjoyed speaking to you about your career and about the NBL of Canada. And I'm looking forward to this game tomorrow night at 7:00. I wish it was actually tonight.
I know. Yeah, I do too. I really do too. It's a little bit hot out today though, so I don't know how my hair would fare, but tomorrow.
That's why I cut my hair short. So I got short hair. I've never had long hair. So I'm a hat guy, by the way. So I got about 95 hats. Definitely. So Victoria, I'm going to let you go, but I want to say thank you so much for coming on Live with CDP podcast, season 3, episode 46. And I'm hoping you will come back on again in the future and possibly talk about Lightning Championship from 2022.
All right, let's go. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Victoria. And I will download the audio later, and I'll send you a link to the audio version of my podcast as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris.
Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night at the in Kitchener for Game 3.
And you will indeed. Take care.
Okay, you too. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my podcast with Victoria. Really appreciate her coming on today. And you can also follow her on Twitter as well. And let's say I appreciate Aaron and Dave coming on as well. And just read more comments. Aaron Sanders, good show, guys. I got to get back on there soon. Yes, Aaron, you and Pat Gregor from the National Lacrosse League, Cool Bad of Canada, are tied with my most appearances at 4-4. Ideally, I would like to see you and Pat come on because Pat has got me hooked on the National Lacrosse League, and you've got me hooked on the National Basketball League of Canada. So, anyways, and yeah, Aaron, we'll work something out in June. And Dave, thanks, Chris. See you soon. Dave, thanks for watching. Again, I'm going to promote you guys on my podcast. If anybody's in Guelph and you like good chicken wings and good food, check out Are You Serious Tap and Grill on 130 Silver Creek Parkway North in Guelph, 519-766-0230, and the official pub of Bill's Mafia in Guelph when the Bills season starts up in August and September as well. Honestly, good food, good people there, and you can check out their website, areyouserious.biz/. And just to let you guys know, as I do for all my podcasts, I'm going to wrap this up soon. Live with CDP podcast. The audio version is downloaded to Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, and my LinkedIn page as well. And also, guys, you could follow me on TikTok, as I mentioned to Victoria, at Live with CDP. And also, guys, Live with CDP merchandise, podcast shirts are $15, coffee mugs are $15, and my new podcast hats are $18. Shipping is extra if you're out of Guelph and out of the country. And my next Live with CDP podcast, guys, to be announced. This is my last one for this week. I do have, I believe, 4 podcasts for next week. So next Live with CDP podcast to be announced this weekend. I'm working on more guests for next week, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And let's see, guys. Aaron Sanders, the challenge has already been issued, Pat. Yes, Aaron, like I said, I really would like to have you and Pat on at the same time. You guys both know your sports, and he loves his lacrosse as much as you love the NBL of Canada. So hopefully we can work that out. Aaron, I really appreciate you watching and all your comments, along with Dave as well. So I'm trying to get better at getting more viewers interactive with my podcast shows as well. So as well. And anyways, speaking of lacrosse, the National Lacrosse League Finals 2022 won't begin until this Saturday, June 4th at 7:30. Game 1 is at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo with the Colorado Mammoth. Their first appearance in the final since 2006, taking on the Buffalo Bandits, who were last in the finals in 2019. Saturday, May 28th, 7 o'clock. The game will be on ESPN, Saturday, June 4th. Saturday, June 4th, which is this Saturday, at 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus and on TSN and TSN.ca. I'm picking the Bandits over the Mammoths in 3 games. So we'll see what happens there. And also, guys, the NBA, first time in 12 years, the Celtics advanced to the NBA Finals. They had to go another 7 against Miami, where they'll face the Golden State Warriors. The series begins this Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern on ABC at San Francisco's Chase Center, and the Warriors are looking for their 4th NBA championship since 2015. This is their 6th appearance in 8 years, and the Boston Celtics are looking for their NBA record 18th NBA title to give them one more than the Lakers if they can beat Golden State. And this is the Celtics' 22nd time in the NBA Finals. So you got one of the all-time great franchises in the Boston Celtics, and you basically have a dynasty in the last decade in the Golden State Warriors, who's in their 6th NBA Finals in 8 years, and only the 5th team in NBA history to do that 6 times in 8 years to the NBA Finals, which is just outstanding. So we'll see about that as well. And hockey news, the New York Rangers advanced to the Eastern Conference Championship last night with a 6-2 win over Carolina in Game 7. We'll take on Tampa Bay Wednesday night in New York at Madison Square Gardens for Game 1 and 2. The Lightning have already had over a week off with their sweep of Florida. The Rangers have had to play back-to-back 7-game series. So I'm picking the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're well rested to beat the Rangers in 5 games. I just think the Rangers are going to run out of gas, having to play 2 straight 7-game series. And Tampa Bay took care of Florida in 4 games. So I think Tampa Bay is going to be well rested. And I really think they're the stronger team. So I got to go with the champs in 5 games over the New York Rangers. So we'll see what happens. And Stanley Cup playoffs, the West Finals begin tonight, Tuesday night tonight. The Oilers in Colorado, game 1, 9 o'clock. I'm going with the Avalanche and Nathan McKinnon over Connor McDavid and the Oilers in 6 games. It should be a great series, but I just think Colorado's got the edge in goaltending, and they have a little more firepower than Edmonton. So I think Edmonton can score, but I just don't like Mike Smith in this series against Colorado. So we'll see. But I got Colorado and Tampa Bay meeting in the 2022 Stanley Cup Finals as well. And before we wrap this up, the OHL West Final Game 6 is tonight. Windsor at Flint at 7 o'clock. The Firebirds lead the series 3-2 with a chance at home in Flint tonight to advance to the OHL Finals for the first time ever against the powerhouse Hamilton Bulldogs. So we'll see what happens. If they win tonight, they're in. If they lose, then they'll have to go back to Windsor for Game 7 against the Spitfires. So, but don't count the Windsor Spitfires out yet. So I did tell everyone before the series started, Windsor in 7 hard-fought games against Flint. So it's going to be a huge game. And that game, you can listen to it, or you can watch it on CHL TV, or listen to it on CKLW 800 in Windsor, on the radio, or online with Steve Bell and Manny Pava doing the play-by-play. Steve, play-by-play. Manny doing the color analyst as well. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up my podcast. But again, I want to say thank you to my guest, Victoria Serwatuk. I think that's how you pronounce it, Serwatuk, for coming on. She's the sideline reporter for the London Lightning and a content creator for the National Basketball League of Canada as well. And I think, yeah, and guys, just to let you know, my next Live with CDP podcast, I will be back next week on Monday. My guests will to be announced. So I've got about 8 podcasts already booked up for June with some really great guests as well. So tune into my social media account this weekend, and I will announce who my next guest is on my podcast. I know for sure it's going to be Monday, June 6th. And also, guys, check out my blog. I'll be doing a blog for the game tomorrow night in Kitchener, and I'll be doing a blog from the Argonauts Tiger Cat game Friday night at the University of Guelph Alumni Stadium. I'm going to be attending that game as a media member as well. So I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you guys next week for another edition of Live with CDP podcast. Thank you, everybody, for watching this live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and later on audio, Apple, Google, Spotify, to Anchor FM, etc. So I hope everybody has a great day. Enjoy the Stanley Cup game tonight with the Oilers and Avalanche, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next Monday, June 6th, for the next edition of Live with CDP podcast. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Thank you again.